Hi, I'm Vareen, a curious explorer of the intricate landscape of the human mind and behaviors. And you're now listening to the Ink Thoughts podcast, where I unravel the mysteries behind the incongruous thoughts that pepper our everyday existence. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Ink Thoughts podcast. Hope everyone has been doing well. So, today we're diving into a topic that's deeply personal yet incredibly universal. Being honest with ourselves and how that honesty can feel like a threat to our sense of security. If you've ever found yourself clinging to something that doesn't feel right, maybe it's a job, or even just a way of thinking, because it makes you feel safe, you are not alone. Today, we're going to unpack why being truthful within ourselves can feel so uncomfortable and why, ultimately, it's the key to finding a deeper, more authentic sense of security. So, let's get into it. Let's first start with something fundamental to all of us: the need for security. As human beings, we are wired to seek stability and safety. It's a survival instinct that dates back to when our ancestors needed to protect themselves from physical threats, and in today's world, those threats have changed. We are no longer worried about wild animals or finding food to survive, but the instinct is still there. Now it's more about emotional, social, and financial security, which is more of an abstract idea. We want stable jobs, fulfilling relationships, and a sense of predictability in our lives because these things make us feel safe. It's only natural that we crave that feeling of being grounded, of knowing that things are going to be okay. But here's the thing: our need for security often leads us to avoid facing uncomfortable truths. We hide behind stories and rationalizations, convincing ourselves that everything is fine, even when deep down we know something's off. So, why do we avoid being honest with ourselves then? It's not that we're trying to deceive others or even ourselves out of malice. It's about protection. Being honest with ourselves can feel like stepping into the unknown, like taking off the armor we've worn for years. And let's face it, that's terrifying. Imagine this: you've been telling yourself that your job is fine, even though you're dread going to work every morning. The reason you avoid confronting these feelings is because doing so threatens the stability you've built. The truth, admitting the truth to yourself means acknowledging that something needs to change. And that's scary because change is uncertain. But here's the reality: by avoiding the truth, we're actually creating a false sense of security. We build our lives on shaky foundations, and over time, that catches up to us. The longer we deny what's really going on, the harder it becomes to make a change. This brings us to a paradox. Being honest with ourselves can initially feel like a threat to our security, but in the long run, it is actually the path to a deeper, more authentic sense of safety. Let me explain why. The security we're clinging to, whether it's a job title, a relationship status, or even a social identity, is often an illusion. We believe that if we can just control everything around us, we'll feel safe. But life is unpredictable. Circumstances change, people change, and trying to hold on to external sources of security is like trying to hold water in your hands. It just slips away. True security doesn't come from controlling everything outside of us. It comes from within. It's about building self-trust, resilience, and the confidence that no matter what happens, we can handle it. When you stop trying to control every detail and start being honest with yourself, you let go of the illusion of security and embrace something much more stable: your inner strength. Okay, so how do we start being more honest with ourselves without feeling like we are tearing down everything we've built then? Here are a few practical steps. First thing first, practice self-reflection. Take some time each day to check in with yourself. Ask questions like, am I truly happy with where I am? Or am I avoiding it right now? Be honest in your answers. And put it this way, like, It's just you trying to face yourself. There's no one else here. You're just talking to yourself, trying to make sense to yourself, and so be as honest as you could. I know sometimes we still tend to, try to hide those feelings and try to pretend like everything's all right, even to ourselves, but give it a try. Be honest with yourself. It might break you down at the beginning if, let's say, you have built up a lot of resistance towards something, but towards the end, you might see a change. And next, journaling. Writing can be a powerful tool for self honesty. Sometimes putting your thoughts on paper helps you see where you've been holding back. Write down your fears, your desires, and the truths you've been avoiding. Lean into discomfort. Being honest with yourself is uncomfortable, but discomfort is where growth happens. Instead of running away from it, lean into it. Ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen if I face this truth? I've been reading this book recently, and an idea that was mentioned in the book leads me to reflect this. The sentence says, leave space for the unknown, basically telling us to learn how to be comfortable with not knowing. And that could feel terrifying, not gonna lie. But a lot of the time, we just don't know, and we won't know until something really happened. And even if something did happen, we wouldn't know if that's the end of the story or not either, which I think is a really good saying that is worth thinking deeper into. And next, focus on internal security. Start building trust in yourself. Instead of relying on external circumstances for your sense of security, focus on what you can control: your mindset, your action, your resilience. Today, when I was at work, my colleague was kind of surprised when he saw me. He was telling me like he thinks I've grown taller, which doesn't make sense. I'm at the age that I probably wouldn't be growing. That's weird. He then speculated that maybe it's me being more confident now that kind of give people that perception that I look taller, which then led me into thinking, yeah, probably it's me feeling more confident in myself, as in I trust my ideas, my thoughts, and the sense of trusting myself actually changed me so much. And I could see I have been feeling more grounded recently too. So I would say that's probably part of me trying to build that internal security, and that makes me feel a lot more grounded, a lot more confident, and building my sense of security within myself. And the next thing would be take small, honest steps. You don't have to change everything overnight, and that's unrealistic too. Start with small steps. Maybe it's having an honest conversation you've been avoiding, or acknowledging a truth you've been pushing aside. Each small act of self-honesty builds inner strength. As we wrap up today's episode, I want you to think about this. What would happen if you let go of the illusion of security and instead embrace the truth of where you are right now? How would life change if you trusted yourself to handle whatever comes next? Being honest with ourselves is not about tearing everything down. It's about freeing ourselves to live more authentically, to make choices that align with who we truly are, and to find a deeper, more enduring sense of security that isn't tied to things outside of our control. True security doesn't come from having all the answers or controlling every outcome. It comes from knowing that no matter what happens, you can trust yourself to face it. And that, my friends, is a kind of security no one can take away. That's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this conversation has resonated with you and given you something to think about. If you found this episode helpful, please share with someone who might need to hear it. And as always, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Reach out to me on social media or leave a comment down below. Until next time, remember, true security comes from being honest with yourself. Stay curious, stay brave, and trust that you have what it takes to face whatever life throws your way. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye. Thank you for listening to this episode of the podcast. If you enjoyed it, do like and share it with your friends and family and drop me a comment on YouTube. If you're on Apple Podcasts, please leave me a review. If you're on Spotify, please rate my show. Alternatively, any questions or feedback, feel free to email me at hello@incthoughts.com or send me a private message on Instagram, Facebook or Twitter with the username of IncThoughtsPod. Thanks again and catch you all next week.